Hi, welcome to another video on the Target Individual Experience, the Target Individual program. So today is Monday, April 23rd, 2018. And in this video, I'm going to show you how the use of colors as a trigger and how with that use of that trigger along with uh, civilian perps as well as police and traffic agents, how they try to send me, how they try to send subliminal messaging. Okay, but before I do that, I want to talk about the tactics that they use. Okay, and also their personality type, which is covert aggressive personality as well as sadistic, right, or sadism. So, um, been under heavy remote neural monitoring. That's a given. It's practically all the time. Sometimes they'll do subtle things to, and again, that's the covert aggressive personality type. They'll do things underhand, under the radar, to get what they want. Okay, and so you got to look out for that. And then I'm going to show you a series of videos. I'm not going to play them, but I'm sure a series of videos in how you can learn to recognize these people and these tactics. And this is very important. This is very important because you can recognize the manipulation. You can develop defense mechanism against the manipulation, and you can remove yourself from the environment if you feel that you're being manipulated. All right, or from the other person or groups of people, whoever it may be. Okay, because a lot of the purpose of the street theater stuff like that is to trigger a fight or flight response. Okay, so you have to understand that. So, psychologicalharassment.com have a wealth of information when it comes to psychological harassment, psychological tactics, and manipulation. And so today, after recognizing what the tactics that they were doing with the street theater, I said, okay, I'm gonna do this video because I recognize the tactics. I recognize the type of intention that they are trying to convey, right? And so immediately, went to psychologicalharassment.com and I went to this section, which is called ideation used to manipulate victims. Now, while I was going through the street theater outside, I remember this, and I said, even though I go through this stuff every day, sometimes it doesn't come to me, you know, because maybe it's the way they're targeting me. And again, they do a lot of masking, so a lot of stuff sometimes bypass my consciousness, right? And it goes straight to the subconscious. Okay, but today, my consciousness recognizes it. Okay, and so let's talk about this tactic, right? That's used to manipulate victims, right? So ideation, right? To manipulate victims. People can be led to believe things that are false in order to manipulate them, and even try to drive them to suicide or to harm others. For example, a person can be led to believe that they are about to be fired or constantly on the verge of being fired to induce stress, paranoia, and insecurities. Another example is to lead the person to believe that they will be sued or going bankrupt will be falsely accused, resulting in prison time, will never be employed again, or lose their spouse. Now, everything I just read here, okay, they've done to me. Okay, they had me believe that, that they're going to take my disability away, bankrupt me, that I was going to be sued. Okay, I constantly talk about how they use perps, people in my past, to try to falsely accuse me of something so that I can be arrested. And when they do that particular theme, they will use the police. Okay, and in terms of employment, when uh, when I got laid off from my job and I was looking for a job and I went on job interviews, the person that was doing the job interview used to target me, and so it got to a point where I started feeling that, maybe I shouldn't even go on these job interviews anymore, because they've already manipulated these people, they've already compromised these people, and they're not gonna hire me. And to be honest, all the job interviews that I had went on, I never got a call back. Okay, again, and also the threat of losing your spouse. They've tried tactic, method. Um, I said that wrong. They have tried countless methods of manipulating Pam and myself, as well as the people around her. Okay, to try to get me to a point where I'm just like, F it, I'm out of here. And like I said, I just leave the situation whenever we're being microwave and whenever she's targeting me. But I come back the next day, and do what I got to do, which is taking care of the kids, picking them up from school, cooking, making sure they do their homework and all that stuff. So they've tried countless. They've tried her ex lover, I should say, and people from her past, especially men. So and again, and then she gets into this thing where, and I keep telling her, I said, listen, this is they're doing this because they want to break us up. But she doesn't believe what I'm going through, so I'm like, whatever. So a lot of times, like I said, she does things, like recently, again with the palm tactic, with walking by me and then turning her palms towards me, and then also like last night, getting ready for bed, went into bed. Soon as I got into bed, police sirens started going off with the noise campaign, and she started sticking her thumb out, in very subtle ways. But I could tell we were being microwaved because I started to become fixated on her thumb, and every time I looked in her direction, she would like stick her thumb out, right? So at that point, I knew that we were being microwaved. And again, with the police, trying to, manipulate me and make me afraid to be next to her or sleep next to her, or even when we're, I guess when we're having sex, making love, what have you, they don't want me doing that either. So that's why they do that, because almost every time we ready to get busy, they start the noise campaign, and it's usually police sirens. I mean, I can tell the difference between police, the ambulance, and the fire trucks. They're different. In this situation that I just stated, it's always the police. All right, so ideation to manipulate victim, like I said. All right, so the use with degrading themes, the victim can be led to believe that they will be labeled a pedophile or used as a prostitute. Now, I was on a call yesterday, Sunday, from it's a call by this TI called Night of Thunder. He's in the UK, and he was telling me that recently they a lot of these teenage girls would come around him, and I said to him, listen, they've done that theme to me countless times. You have to be very careful. If they come up to you, start asking you a question, walk away, because what they're doing, and they're trying to create a level of perception that you might be some type of pedophile, right? So I said, if they come next to you, want to ask you a question, turn around and walk away. Because what they'll do is that they'll have someone taking pictures and then going around your neighborhood saying, look, watch out for this guy. He's trying to talk to these young teenage girls. This guy might be a pedophile. So you have to be very careful, because you know that you're not, okay? But the people in your neighborhood is going to believe what the authority said to them, right? And if they show them pictures showing you talking to a teenage girl, right? It doesn't matter if she's just asking you a question, okay? It's the perception that counts, right? So TIs, you gotta be careful. Even TIs who are women, you also gotta be careful, okay? Because again, they like to use the prostitute theme with women who are TIs, okay? May they go with the noise, all right? So again, this is how they will adjust their targeting, okay? So normally when I do my show, you always hear the sirens, right? Whether it be police, fire trucks, ambulances, you always hear them. Now I'm doing my show, they'll have a civilian in a car blasting their music loud, so they will always, and again, these passive aggressive personality types will always find other ways. If one way doesn't work, they will try something else, okay? All right, so let me just reread this again. So the use of degrading themes, the victim can be led to believe they can be labeled a pedophile or used as a prostitute, that the perpetrators control the world, and that the victim must obey. Okay? Beneficial intention, to deceive the victims. This is very important. Some victims may not understand why someone would do this to them, or how some people can do this to others. And again, during the show yesterday, I had talked about Darren Brown, who is a mentalist. He's from the UK. And on one of his shows, there's an episode called The Game Show. And I would say that as a TI, go onto YouTube, type in Darren Brown Game Show, and look at that. It will tell you exactly how people can do these things, and you'll see for yourself, okay? So, what the motives are for doing this to them, and therefore can be deceived into believing the phenomenon is of beneficial intentions. Now, I hear a lot of TIs talk about, well, God put me in this program to make me stronger. Again, it's kind of ridiculous. Matter of fact, it is ridiculous. Okay, and that's what I mean when I talk about, or when I'm reading this, it talks about beneficial intention. There is no beneficial intention. It is all deception. Okay, it is to create what is called forgot what I'm looking for, but the end word is consent, right? So it's not like you're giving them. It's called manufactured consent. That's what I'm looking for. Manufactured consent. Okay. The phenomenon of psychological harassment or warfare can also leave the victims in doubt or confused as to what is going on, or what is the intention or purpose of these psychological manipulation, psychological attack, and events in questions are for. Are the intention in some way benevolent for training purpose or self-improvement? It can also leave the victims unaware that a psychological war is being waged on them, and that the doubt, confusion, and deception can result in preventing the victims from taking action or fighting back. Again, whenever I fight back, they'll try to use the police to intimidate me. It's like, okay, well, if you're fighting back, we're going to open up this case against you. You're going to go to jail. Or we're gonna take away your disability. So all these negative themes that they run. Okay, so uh, it's a test, it's training, it's to make you stronger, tougher. It's an initiation or rite of passage. Okay, beneficial intention, the failure strategy. When a group of psychological warfare experts targets a victim and tries to create situations, street theater scenarios, or events with the intention of embarrassing, humiliating, threatening, anger, induce fear, or other harmful effects, they need a strategy to deal with the failure or failures if the event in question do not produce the desired outcome or result. So, for example, if they're trying to send you to do street theater and you don't, let's say you ignore them, okay? Whatever subliminal message they're trying to send through the street theater, you didn't react the way they intend you to react. So all of a sudden, now they start coughing, okay? Or all of a sudden, now they start shaking their keys, right? Because you didn't react and you didn't respond how they wanted you or expected you to respond, okay? All right. So a failure of the group who tries to intentionally attack or humiliate a victim builds confidence in the victim for overcoming this challenge or properly dealing with the event in question. So there is a need to have a strategic or tactic to eliminate or reduce the confidence building phenomenon that results as much as possible. One of the ways this is done is by trying to make the victim believe the false view on reality or interpretation that it was a test, a training situation, and that there was or may have been some kind of benevolent intention in this kind of action or scenarios. Okay? So the never ending test. One example of this strategy or tactic is to interpret the event as a test. The result is that the victim feels he or she is on a never ending test, since these situations, events, and attacks are usually repetitive in this kind of ongoing psychological harassment or psychological war. And it is repetitive. Okay, it's not kind of. It's not usually. It is repetitive in every single way, every single day. Many of these tactics can also be considered to be psychological torture or used for psychological torture. And this is exactly what I talk about. We are being psychologically tortured. Okay? Yes, we are fighting back, but we're still being psychological tortured every single day, because every day we go outside of our apartment, our house, we have psychological traumatic experience dealing with these sick people. Okay? Dealing with these covert aggressive sadist personality types. Okay? So, again, so now, based on what I just read, okay, this video that I'm going to show you is exactly what they're trying to do. Okay? When we talk about the manipulation of victims, using degrading theme, negative theme, that sort of thing. Okay? So, this morning, went to take the kids to school. My normally routine: take the kids to school, pick up their mom, take her to work, and today I had physical therapy, okay, which I'm gonna get to because there was a lot of targeting in physical therapy. So here we go. So one of the themes they use is colors, right? So when I walked out of the apartment building, crossed the street to go to the car, there was a gray car parked in front of the car, right? But the person, see, I'm parked by the fire hydrant, okay? And let me just get this video here. So I'm parked by the fire hydrant, right? And this individual, the way how he was parked a little bit up from me. So there were plenty of other parking space he could have taken, okay? because he couldn't park there because he was basically impeding the fire hydrant, right? So if I mean, this area here normally needs to be open, right? Or no cars parking. And then, like I said, there were plenty of parking space that he could have double parked at, because they were cleaning this side of the street this morning. So anyway, so got in the car. I told him, listen, you know, you need to move because I need to get out the parking space. And I'm gonna mute the volume on the radio again because and I don't want my video to be flagged for copyright. And even though in this case it probably wouldn't matter, but you wouldn't be able to hear what I'm saying. Okay. So anyway, it's a great car. Remember that, right? This is a theme. The theme and the color of the theme today is gray. Okay? So that's the first one. And again, they will try to mask it. And they will mask it for someone who would be looking at this video. If I'm not explaining it to you, you guys would never see it. You'd never understand it. Okay? Gray car. Again, pull out the parking space, right? Gray car. First car pull up behind. Again, as I exit out the parking space, gray car. Okay? See, now I'm hearing the sirens. Because I guess when they know they're about to get put on blast. So, the tactics that they use, again, you expose their tactics, they go back to the fire truck or the ambulance, right? Or the police sirens. Okay, so I'm going to skip past some of these things here. Again, after this car turn, I pull up behind this car. What color is this car? A gray car. Okay, now while this is going on, the perps on the sidewalk, right? So teenagers, grown men and women, older men and women, they get them involved. Okay. Now you see this teenager here. He's walking to school. I'm coming. Then he turns and looks. It stops, turns, look in my direction. Okay. You'll see him right there. Stops, look in my direction. As I looked at him, he sticks his tongue out. These two, again. Now, you see this woman standing here? This is around, 8 something in the morning. Okay? So, these stores here are closed. There's a bodega right here, but these stores are all closed. Okay? And they're standing there. These teenagers, they should be going to school. But again, they use teenagers in my targeting. And as I drove past, he puts his head down. One of them put the head down. Crossing the street, this guy coming up, not this guy standing here, again wearing gray, looking at his phone. This guy comes up, he looks at his phone. I mean, not his phone, he looks at his watch. Excuse me. He looks at his watch. Okay, and then he folds his arm. Okay? Now, another perp sees me, immediately bows his head as he walks by. Okay? Okay, so let's turn. Excuse me. And this happens, right? So I'm doing my video. All of a sudden, my face now starting to itch me. And so I'm going to just move out the way. I'm going to scratch my face, and then I'll be right back. Okay. Sorry about that. But again, this is something that they do. the microwave, you know, being able to make my face itch, you know, and it's a particular part of my face which I'm not gonna say, because for me, say it, if you're a TI watching this video, and I say exactly which body part, it will have the same effect as if I was actually scratching that body part on my face. Okay, so not gonna mention it. Now, you see, as I approach this young lady right here, she looks at her watch. Let's go back. Okay. Now, she's standing there, as you see. There's no. Let's say she dropped her kid off to school, right? She's standing there. It doesn't take that long for her child to go in the schoolyard and enter the school, but you'll see her there for quite a while. Okay, and it's because they're using her in the street theater. So as I approach, you'll see her look at her watch. See that? Now she's standing there. Like I said, she's been standing there before I even turned the corner. Okay? And they use the red theme. Now that's my son, and he's wearing red. He's not a perp, but it's the red theme. And you're gonna hold up a bottle of water. Okay? So you're gonna see. I mean, yeah. Holds up a bottle of water, right? Again, gray theme, gray car. Okay, let's go. I'm gonna skip past some of this. All right, so here we go again. So, vehicle turn. All right. Now I'm gonna make this turn, but before I make this turn, guess what? Pulled up behind another gray car. Okay. Now, are you guys getting the picture? You guys think this is coincidence? Okay. Okay. And guess what? I'm going to turn onto the block that my daughter's school is on. And again, this vehicle turning. Color of this vehicle is gray. Okay? Whether it's a light gray, dark gray, doesn't matter. It's still in the same color. It's just different shades. So I let that car go, and then another gray car. Right? This one is a darker gray color. Okay? Again, do you guys see the pattern? Do you really think this is a coincidence? Okay. Let's get to the next video. Alright, so drop my daughter off, and I'm heading to pick up Pam. Okay, now they're gonna break up the color again because they know that I am recording. So again, this is how they're gonna mask it, right? And again, if I wasn't explaining this fully, you might just say, okay, you know what, it's coincidence, what have you. So, you know, I'm gonna pull up behind a car. Yeah, it's going to be a different color, you know. And pull it behind another car is going to be green. Okay. All right. Again, now all of this is it's conditioning. Okay. Again, stuff being done repeatedly over and over is conditioning. And when you study this program, the things that these perps do, because you got to know your enemy. You got to know your enemy. So you got to study their tactics. So this green cab is going to turn, and of course, it comes back to gray theme again, right? Gray car. Okay, so I'm waiting for Pam, and now street theater with civilian perp. So see this guy here? I want you to watch him. I watch what he does. And please make this full screen so you can get a better view, a better picture. Okay? So he stands up in front of 7-Eleven. He looks back at me. See that? Watch. Turns in front of 7-Eleven, looks back at me, and he walks. And he's going to stop right there. You're going to see him stop right there. Okay? Now, I'm going to let this play because I want you to see how long he stands there. You know? Whatever it is that he was doing. Okay? But this guy stood there for a good amount of time before he eventually leaves. Right? And the reason why he leaves, and again, here's another perp. So here, now, she's going to be very dramatic. And when I say dramatic, she's walking, and look at her hair. Okay? All of this is to get your attention. Look how her hair is moving from side to side. Right? Okay? Now I want you to watch this guy. Another perp. As he approach, he's gonna touch his eye. Kind of like he's wiping away tears. Now, while he's walking, okay. Now he's gonna he's wiping away tears, what have you. They do that shit all the time. Now here comes the police. Here comes the police car. Street theater involving the police. And they're not done yet. And you'll see. I'm going to show you. Okay, so this guy's still there. Still standing there. Okay? Like I said, I'm gonna let this play because I'm gonna show you exactly what it is they're doing and how they're doing it. Okay? So now this woman comes out of 7-Eleven. Now she knows what's going on, and as she gets closer to me, you'll see that she's like laughing. Okay, but she's not laughing out loud, but she's gonna be like this. She's gonna have this smile on her face, like she's laughing internally. Okay. And please view this full screen. And she's gonna look. She's gonna look at me while she's laughing internally. you just give like a quick look, like because they think it's funny. That's what happened. These perps, they think what they're doing is funny, but it's not funny. This is, again, it's a crime, psychological torture, and they think they can get away with it because they're members of the police department that are engaged and involved in this stuff. Okay. So again, this guy's still here now. Whatever he's doing, he's still there. The same guy again comes back, does this, you know, again. Very funny people. Okay, he leaves. He turns around, looks back at me. Another perp. Okay, now see this purple here? So whatever you have in the bag, he puts in his pocket. He's looking at me, and then you see he bows his head as he walk past. Okay. All right. So at this point, Pam got in the car, and we're driving. And guess what? Gray car. No, it's not blue. Okay, this is just from the shadow, the light, making it look blue. Again, look at this individual. And they're gonna do stuff out of the ordinary to, get your attention, right? Now look at this person, practically in the lane to make a turn, practically in the lane, and I just let that person go. Everybody went around. I'm like, you go ahead. So let's go. So at this point, they eased up on the color, gray, and I mean, you have the civilians on the sidewalk, the perp civilians, and I was targeting them back, also doing hand signals, sticking my hands in my ears, pinching my nose, doing all this stuff. All right. Now, drop Pam's off her job, and I'm heading to physical therapy. Okay, now. Let's go back here. So, yesterday, I posted an article on Facebook about people who have been incarcerated that they are converting to Islam. Okay? So, again, this is how they monitor, because you have no privacy. So, they monitor your online activities, your phone calls, and anything that you talk about, anything that you read, they will incorporate it into your targeting. And again, there's a theme that's going on here, and you will see. Okay? So, as I'm driving by, there's a Muslim gentleman. And again, pull up behind what? Gray car. Okay? I have to pause this video. Face is scratching me again. Alright, my face is very, very itchy at this point. So you have to excuse me as I step aside to scratch my face. Okay. Let's go back. Now, so this woman here, she's walking across. She's gonna stop. She's gonna look up at the stoplight, and she's gonna do this, looking directly at me. See that? Again, using civilian perps to send me subliminal message. Be quiet. Don't say anything. Okay, actually no, I don't want to skip this part here because I want to show this. So again, and you're gonna see this theme here. So again, as I pull up behind a gray car. Okay, and you're gonna see a woman here standing here. As she sees me, she's gonna turn and start walking. Okay, she has a big bag. Again, the theme is in the bag. Okay, so let me go. And now, that number shows up. So let me go back. So both buses were in this lane. Again, this is all street theater. Okay, so this bus is gonna go over to this lane, and the bus in front of it is gonna stay in this lane. Now, as I approach and pull up behind this bus, you're gonna see that number. So they have to find some way of incorporating it, right? Because throughout the morning, taking the kids to school, taking Pam to work, you didn't see that number. I didn't see that number. Pull up behind it, and it's not in the license plate, but it's in the phone number. See that? Number 32. Okay, let's go. I'm gonna skip past some of these stuff. Now, the use of the civilian perps. See, this perp standing at the corner. As he sees me driving by, he's gonna stick his finger in his ears. There you go. See that action? Go see another civilian perp. I'm right here. He's looking at me as I'm driving down. And they're both wearing gray jackets, by the way. Gray jackets. They are both wearing gray jackets. Okay? Now, see this girl right here? This is a perp. Look at how she's walking. If you've watched my videos, I talked about how the police used to stage these, false arrests in front of me. So I would be walking down the block, whether I come out the train station going home or on my way to work, and the police will have somebody in handcuffs. And as soon as they see me, they will turn the person in handcuffs to where I'm looking at them from behind with their hands behind their back like this with handcuffs in it. Okay? So she is walking, simulating that same action. And I went into this thing because I wanted to get a better look and capture it better on video. Okay? And again, gray jacket. Now, as I turn, there's the garbage truck. Okay? They used to use the garbage truck a lot in my targeting. And today they use it in a very subtle way with all of everything they've been doing. Like I said, I'm on my way to physical therapy. Now, pull up behind. Actually, let me go back a little bit because. So I turn onto the block that I usually parked on. When I go to physical therapy. Okay. Now, parking space right here, of course. Gentleman comes out of his vehicle at the exact time. You see how he hesitated, right? Again, gray vehicle. Color gray. There you go. Now, went to physical therapy. I was there for about an hour and a half, right? When it was finally time for me to, have my back worked on, the receptionist, which is a guy, calls me over and he's like, "Mr. Nicholson, you had 10 sessions already," and I'm like, "Really? Okay." And he was like, "Well, you also had two free ones, and if we work on your back today, we'll have to charge you." And I'm like, "Really? Okay, so I had 10 sessions. So why didn't you tell me that at the end of the 10 sessions? Why are you telling me that today now, and that you give me two free sessions?" Okay, so I'm like, "All right, well, I guess I'm leaving." So he's like, "Well, you can come back when the other guy is here because I had said to him, I said, what, maybe I should go talk to the doctor, to get additional therapy for my back." And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Come the next time when the other guy is there, and he might be able to do it for you." So I'm like, "Okay, all right, fine." So, you know, it's wasted an hour and a half. Now, usually when I get in there, he already pulls up my chart and everything. But he waited until an hour and a half later. And there's a reason for that. Because while I was there for that hour and a half, I was being heavily targeted. There were new people that I saw there, and they were targeting me. So again, they have recruited, these people, and now they're had them there today, targeting me. Okay, so I'm like, all right, whatever. So, you know, I left, and here I am leaving, and guess which color the car is in front of me? Can you guess it? Let's play a guessing game, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, guess it. It's a gray car. Okay. Now they're going to use the police. Okay. This is again. This is a theme, a tactic that they use over and over again. Okay. So now watch this guy as he walks. You're gonna see he's gonna stick his finger in his ears. There you go. Okay. And again, color gray. Okay, it's like a tannish gray. Okay. Now as I approach this light, see the police vehicle park up there. The police officer comes from behind the vehicle, goes into her vehicle. Right at the exact moment that I pull into that intersection. Another, see, two more police cars. Speed this up a little bit. Okay, let's go back. So there was a police car that was double parked. The light was red. They could have gotten out at any time, right? But of course, you know, I'm driving up that street, Flatbush Avenue. So now they're gonna wait until they see me coming. Then they're gonna get out. Okay? And they're gonna get out. Now, watch what follows after. This car, okay, it's gonna pull out when they got out of their car, and I'm approaching. This woman, she's wearing all black. Okay, so now they're using the color theme, the black theme, right? Now, see this vehicle here? The door's open. Okay? So again, and I talk about how, you know, they, and this is exactly what I read. So let me go back to this again. Okay? People can be led to believe things that are false in order to manipulate them and even try to drive them to suicide or harm others. For example, a person can be led to believe that they are about to be fired, are constantly on the verge of being fired to induce stress, paranoia, insecurities. Another example is to lead the person to believe that they will be sued or going bankrupt or will be falsely accused, resulting in prison time. Okay? So, what is happening here? They use the theme that, oh, they're going to open up a case against me and I'll be in prison and also I'll be deported. Okay? They're very clever. Okay? But once you study their tactics, know what it is that they're doing, you'll be able to recognize it and, again, explain it in a way that makes sense in terms of your targeting. All right? So, pull up behind the vehicle, and then you look at the license plate. Bye bye, love. You see what I'm saying? I talk about how to use the theme of trying to deport me because, you know, I'm fighting back. I'm speaking out. I'm letting people know what's going on. Okay, they're trying to shut me up. I'm not having it. So they constantly use these themes. Okay, like for example, also last night, Sunday, I took the bus from my house to Pam. Right, because it was my weekend to be by myself, to relax, what have you. So I get on the first bus, and this guy, he's like talking really loud, and you know, he's like talking about Grenada and stuff like that. So I'm from Grenada. Okay, so I was born in Grenada, but I was, you know, most of my life raised here in the United States. So I'm like, okay, what have you. Then I get on the second bus, and another guy on the second bus speaking really, really loud, and he had a Grenadian accent. All right, so again, you know, this is how this ties into my targeting, how they use these tactics and these strategies, right? This ideation to try and manipulate me. Okay? This is what they do. So, cops get out of the car as soon as I approach. The car in front of them have its car door open. Woman wearing all black. Okay? Then, at the same time, the cops, that the cop opened up their car door to come to exit their vehicle, this car pulls out of this blue vehicle pulls out of the parking space, and as I'm driving, pull up behind it, is a bye bye love in the license plate. I'm trying to show you guys how they target me, how they sent me subliminal messages. Okay, now I didn't always think like this. They manipulated me, they brainwashed me to think like this, so I can recognize what it is, what subliminal message they're sending me or what they're trying to send me. Okay, and for me to deal with this, what's going on, I have to expose it. They don't want me talking about it. Okay, if I go to a psychiatrist to talk about what's happening to me, they will microwave, manipulate that psychiatrist into targeting me. That's why you see them do this, or they doing this all the time to shut me up. Now, coming to this intersection. See this guy in this yellow shirt? He's a perp. The minute he sees me, he looks at his watch. Then he's going to turn away because he does not want to be on camera. He doesn't want his face to be recognized. Okay? Now, this guy comes out. He has a white paper in his hand. Okay? Now, early on in my targeting, okay, I used to date, and I remember whenever I would date, right, my dates, whenever I go to meet them, they will be holding up a white piece of paper. All right? I'm not even going to hold it up, but they will hold up a white piece of paper with their middle finger on the outside of the paper facing towards me. Okay? Another perp who doesn't want to be seen. So on this paper, and she's reading this, I like to see it, right? Because I'm pretty close. So there's like a list of names on this paper. Okay, because I can tell by the format that it's listed in. Okay, now you're going to see the gray theme again. Okay, so as I approach the intersection, they use the traffic agent. Use of traffic agent, remember. Sometimes they'll use police officers, but at this distance, I think it's pretty, deliberate. Okay, so I can't really see her badge number, or if they do have badge numbers, these traffic agents, I don't know. But this gray vehicle, you're going to see it's going to make a U-turn. Okay, so let me go back. All right, then the homeless theme again. Okay, so that's how they do street theater. This is street theater, and I've read, okay, what it is that they're doing. I've shown you what it is that they're doing. Okay. And hopefully, my explain it that you get it, that you understand where I'm coming from. You understand what's being done, how it's being done. Okay, so I got back on the block, and it took me a while to get parking, but I eventually got parking. So again, you see for yourself. All right, so now let's talk about the personality types. Okay, again, this is Dr. George Simmons, who wrote In Sheep's Clothing, right? Which, like I said, an excellent book in terms of understanding the psychology and the personality of these people, the people who created these sorts of programs, as those also that participate in the psyops, psychological warfare, or the covert persuasive program. Okay, and so again, they do things in a very underhanded, very subtle ways to bypass your conscious mind, so that you're not going to develop any type of uh, resistance or defense mechanism. And so they do it in a very subtle way. But I guess for some of us, they decide that they're going to do it overtly and in a very coercive way at the same time. So sometimes they'll target me very overtly, but most of the time it's very covert. Okay? So again, covert aggressive personalities. All right? So covert aggressive personalities are the archety I'm not so sure if I'm pronouncing this right, but the archetypal wolves in sheep's clothing that I introduced in my first book, In Sheep's Clothing. These individuals are not openly aggressive in their interpersonal style. In fact, they do their best to keep their aggressive intentions and behavior carefully masked. And that's why I talk about how they mask their themes, right? They can often appear quite charming and amicable, but underneath their civil facade, they are just as ruthless as any other aggressive personality. They are devious, underhanded, and subtle in the ways they abuse and exploit others. They have usually amassed an arsenal of interpersonal maneuvers and tactics that have enabled them to effectively manipulate and control those in relationships with them. The tactics they use are effective because they simultaneously accomplish two objectives very effectively. The tactics conceal obvious aggressive intent. When the covert aggressive is using the tactic, the other person will have little objective reasons to suspect that he or she is simply attempting to gain advantage over them. The tactics covert aggressive personality use effectively plays on the sensitivity, conscientiousness, and other vulnerabilities of most persons, especially neurotic individuals, and therefore especially squash any resistance another person might have to giving in to the demand of the aggressor. Okay? So, it's this 1-2 punch of the tactics, never really seeing what's coming and being vulnerable to succumbing to them, that's at the heart of why most people get manipulated. Okay? And I'm not going to read on because you guys can read it yourself. This is counselingresource.com. You guys can go on there. There's a lot of stuff that you can learn. You can practice, and a lot of ways that you can understand the types of personalities that we're dealing with. And you can also help to understand your own personality, and that will help you greatly, because if they know you are a certain way, they will use that to their advantage. So you have to kind of understand the way you are, understand what it is about you and the way you are that they're using to exploit you and manipulate you, and counteract that. Okay, so also the YouTube website, again, just type in covert passive aggressive Dr. George Simmons, PhD. And again, the other site, counseling resource website, counselingresource.com. Okay, and you know, hopefully this information will be very beneficial to you guys out there, and not just TIs, but to anyone who may one day find themselves in a predicament that we're in. Okay, they'll be able to handle and understand things a lot better and a lot sooner, and not get trapped and tricked into these manipulative, coercive tactics. Explain it in a way that you guys understand. And like I said, this is a daily event. So psychological torture, as well as physical torture, the use of directed energy weapons, remote neural monitoring, the invasion of our privacy, your privacy, my privacy, uh, the manipulation of the people around you, including my children, who this microwave mind control technology is being used on to influence them to target me, as well as their mother, who I can tell you that she is passive aggressive. Okay, and that's the type of personality that they love to recruit, they love to manipulate, they love to use against targets, okay, or TIs. All right, thank you.